What's going on, guys? My name is Ethan Trespass, and this is my computer science final project. For the project, we had to design a website that would be suitable to a certain topic that we were assigned at the beginning of the year. My topic was 3D printing. The reason I took an interest in 3D printing is because ever since I was a little kid, I found the idea that you could take an idea and manifest that into a physical, tangible item that can be used for the good of society. It's just an unbelievable thing. So after that, I've always had an inherent interest in 3D printing. So, when it came down to making this project, I had to use an application known as cPanel, provided to me by my professor, in which I had to learn how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to design this entire website that you see here. So, as far as HTML went, I didn't know much about it before taking this class, so it was a little bit of a process for me to learn, but I used HTML in the majority of this work. As you can see, all of the writing here. Everything that shows on screen in words, as well as these images right here that are flashing in an animation, that is all HTML editing. I used CSS in my project to do things such as add a border here that you can see on the outside of my cover page, and change colors of the font. CSS is used to provide kind of an overarching rule to all of the pages. An example of that is I set a yellow border for my CSS thing right here, and that carries over to all of the other pages. I have it change colors in other pages though, as you can see here. So back to the home page. To address my animation that you can see right here in the middle of the screen, I edited all of these pictures in a photo editor app. As you can see here, that's my logo. This is my personal picture, and that is a picture I found off the internet to represent my website. So what I did to make my logo essentially was I found an image that I found suitable for 3D printing. I brought it into a photo editing app, and then I layered words on top of that, and then basically compressed the whole thing and turned it into a single image. Now we are going to check out my banner, which is promptly displayed on all of my pages except my cover page. Here it is up top. So, as you can see here, I did something very similar to as I did with the logo. I found an image that I found suitable, took that, and then placed these words right here along with my logo on top of it, and then compressed the whole image to make it one image. Now, if you click on this banner right here, it'll bring you back to the home page. And perfect. So, to get into my website, as you can see here, there are 5 sections that I had to make, all on separate pages that I had to link together using hyperlinks. Let's start with the purpose page. So the first prompt here is to indicate the name of the innovation and to provide a clear description of its intended purpose. So basically what 3D printing is, I don't want to say all of this verbatim, but it is the process of taking ideas that are in your head, it can be absolutely anybody, and then synthesizing those into real things. For example, maybe somebody needed to make a wrench, but they wanted to have the other end of the wrench have another tool on it. You could make that in a 3D printer, and it would be very effective. I also included 2 images here that I thought were relevant. This image right here is a fish being 3D printed, and this is just an animation or a graphic of a 3D printer. Next section. My next section is my effects and impact section. As you can see, if you've been looking, you can see how the CSS editing has carried over on all of my pages here. The background has remained consistent. There's a red border on all of my pages except the cover page, which is yellow, and the text color is consistent. Okay. My second prompt was prompt B, explain a benefit or a harmful effect of the innovation. So I chose to describe a benefit. I described what prosthetic limbs have come together with, because with 3D printing, we have now gained the ability to make 3D printed prosthetic limbs much cheaper and much more accessible for everybody, and I think that's an unbelievable innovation, and it really shows how we've come along with 3D printing. I included an image here of a wrench being a 3D printed wrench being used to fix this bicycle, which just shows that these items are incredibly useful. Prompt C. Explain the impact that the innovation has had on society, economy, or culture. So, I included a little graphic here that shows essentially the interest level in 3D printing over the years. You can see that it's pretty low around 2007, and as we get closer to our time, the interest level just absolutely spikes. As you can see, it's becoming much more relevant in our society, and it's going to continue to grow into the future. So back to my third prompt, prompt C. I basically said that there's multiple ways in which 3D printing has affected our society. We look at all of the things that it has made. Obviously, I mentioned prosthetic limbs before, but it also affects multiple fields such as agriculture, medicine, transportation, recreational toys, all sorts of stuff. So the possibilities with 3D printing are really limitless. For prompt D, I included an image of a survey that I conducted myself, which was essentially asking my classmates on a Google survey app how important they thought that 3D printing was, or the impact it had on their lives on a scale of 1 to 5. Here, the blue bar represents on average what someone would think that 3D printing had an effect on of all of society, while the red one is the personal impact that 3D printing has had on their lives. And as you can see, you can just look at the results here and gauge how people responded. With my fourth prompt, prompt D, it says indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has the potential to impact. And what I said here is I talked about agriculture. It has already impacted agriculture in a great way. We look at a lot of the designs and the new tools that they have to make getting crops and feeding animals more efficient. A lot of that has to do with computer science and the breakthroughs that we've made in creating things with that. Down here, I have a video that I created that illustrates basically why 3D printing is such a pivotal asset in the years to come. I made this video earlier in the year on WeVideo. I basically edited together a couple of clips that I made recording with my phone of a friend asking me a question and then me responding to it. And I also include a video of my friend here, which was also recorded on my phone, moving through a 3D printing site and looking at designs. So I'm just going to play this for you guys here. It is 50 seconds long.
3D printing is important because it lets us take our ideas and turn them into real things. Like, we look at a lot of modern design and a lot of things like, for example, with prosthetic limbs, what they do now is they have the ability to take prosthetic limbs, 3D print them, and then give them to kids who need them. So I think 3D printing is really setting the grounds and making breakthroughs as far as turning our ideas into realities.
And here's my friend looking at the 3D printing ideas. Here we go. Technical aspects. So prompt E, describe how a user interacts with the innovation. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but basically what one does is they will get a 3D printer and a program that corresponds with that. They will download a pre-made design, potentially, or they could make their own. And from there, the program will get sent from the computer that you're operating on to the 3D printer, and it will begin to create your design, be it 10 minutes if it's small, or maybe hours if it's a bigger, more intricate design. Now on to prompt F. Describe in detail how the innovation's technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of abstraction, algorithms, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. So I believe the two big ideas that were present here for 3D printing are both programming and abstraction. Programming, because obviously the building and designing of these programs is very, very, very prominent in 3D printing. And then abstraction, which is taking very complex designs and simplifying them, is also present here because obviously we look at incredibly advanced lines of code, and that is changed into a simple program in which you can design an item. I also included a video here of a time lapse of what it looks like for something to be 3D printed. This right here is the Eiffel Tower. I'm not going to play the whole thing through here because you guys get the idea. And you can see how it makes the entire thing and it layers it perfectly, just like that. Now on to my next section. Relationship to data. So prompt G, describe how the innovation consumes data as an input and then produces it as an output. So basically how the 3D printing design works is on a computer with a program that corresponds with the 3D printer. You find a design, as I said before, or you make your own. And then after you're finished, you send basically a command to the 3D printer to make this design. And what it does then is a little nozzle will then secrete molten plastic, and it will do it in layers until eventually your item is done. Down to prompt H, describe at least one data storage concern or data privacy concern or data security concern related to the innovation. So it is a rather big concern with 3D printing, the security of the data, because it is very easy for hackers to take a large amount of data or manipulate large amounts of data very easily with 3D printers. So it is something in the future that people are going to have to look forward to improving the security in order to keep our data safe. I also included 2 relevant images here to make the aesthetics pleasing. And finally here, we have my reference page. So I included 7 references, and I went through browsing a lot of research to find these. Some of them are from sites such as Wikipedia and other like blogs and stuff like that, and then others are very hard fact websites such as this one right here, the 3D printing website, and we look at this one right here, which is by Mark Ward. So that's my website. Thank you for all listening. If you want any more information, you can check out my website at this link right here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See you later.